So last time I completed these guys. Okay, so I got there. I did the halberds, turned them brown because I felt like the staffs needed to be brown, and instead of they had to be wood instead of being anything else. So the only thing left to do is put like a matte varnish on them, or just to get a little bit of protective state on them. I might not even put the matte varnish on the entire thing because I don't want to. I don't know. I'm not sure how matte varnish functions, to be honest. See, the question with it is, does I might have to do a gloss varnish on the metal, and then maybe a matte varnish on the rest. Do you have to shake varnish? But I am going to put like a varnish on this because I don't want it to. I don't want the paint to come off. I don't have much time. I'm going to do this kind of quick. This is going to be a quick go over. Jeez, what the heck, man? Weird. Oh, whoa, that is one thick blob of varnish. And it's gloss because you don't. I don't have a lot of use for gloss varnish most of the time, so that's going to be fun. Let's see what I got here. Satin varnish. Satin might be all right for the rest of them. Don't worry, this will dry out, and before I know it, satin should be okay because he's got a lot of shiny parts, and I don't care if his cloak is a little on the shiny side. Satin is got a little bit of shine to it, so he's going to be a little shiny, but that's all right. These guys are soldiers, and they've got significant shiny parts. Lots of metal. And I'm not too concerned about carefulness. Just want to get it on the corners and all the spots that might be touched when it's handled. And then try to keep it off his face. Put it on their heads. Like I said, these guys were not meant to be tournament ready, or to be, what do you call it, contest ready or anything like that. They're just meant to be kind of quickly done guys, but I may have been a little slower than I had planned. I don't know what kind of a coating one really needs a varnish to make it be protected, but ultimately it's really just about keep making them so that they can be handled a little bit without being destroyed by just fading and paint coming off and that kind of stuff. Probably shouldn't even be using a good paintbrush for this. In fact, I most definitely probably should not be using a good paintbrush for this. I'll have to rinse this off thoroughly when I'm done. Not just rinse it off, probably even wash it off. Now, the nice thing is, if I feel the need to touch it up, you can touch up over varnish. Apparently, that's what I've been hearing and reading and being told. So it's not a requirement that you have to, once you've once you put varnish on, it's stuck. It's not really the case. So tomorrow, Diablo 2's first season, or Diablo 4's first season comes out. Woohoo! I won't be playing. I probably won't play till this weekend. Probably Friday, maybe. I mean, I want to play, I just can't. Too many other things going on. So yeah, this whole thing is just to protect pretty much the areas that will be touched through the just through playing with them. So I'm trying to make sure that they're gonna be able to last a little while. Paint's not gonna be coming off on them. Oh, hopefully that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and get some satin varnish on there now. Let's get that varnish off of there quick. Now the satin varnish is just to like protect the pole of the wood and maybe the skin a little bit, the items that are not even really, like I said, I'm not terribly concerned with the quality of the coating because you can't really see it that much, but ultimately it's just meant to protect the handling of the figure. I don't know how much it helps, but I'm sure it does help. I've got to assume that it's better. That's why people use it. No, satin varnish their face a little bit. Cause I put especially. I'll tell you this, varnish is especially necessary, especially if you're like me and you don't put a bunch of coats of paint on. Some people put lots of coats and lots of layers, and it's just going to be a lot more resilient because you got more paint. So even if the paint comes off, it's got another layer under it. I don't have that many layers. That's partly just because I'm not fast enough to put piles of layers on, and I'm not good enough to make those layers matter other than to protect the piece. So it's just one of those, you have to decide what your limits are, And you can, like I said, if you ever need to touch it up, varnish does not preclude the ability to touch it up, be it satin or otherwise. It's quite okay to go over your figure with paint again once if you find a need. So just do what you gotta do, you know? Alright, I think that's good. They're finished. Got a nice little coat of varnish on them. They have got, the base is kind of done. I didn't really put any, I didn't go back and put anything on the base other than just the paint. But I don't know, what, I mean, do I really need to varnish the paint, the base? I mean, really? Probably not. Guess we'll see. Alright, so that's it. They're done. Woo! Now they're officially done. I've got them set to be ready. So for now, they can be played at some point. You know, whenever their opportunity arises, we can get them onto a play area. But I gotta. I've got. I don't know what that was all about, but I dropped him. Alright, so done. Let's go ahead and go back to the demon for a bit. Now again, my morning, or my day here is, my morning, is limited. So I'm only going to be going for a little while. Let's see, adamantium black. Adamantium black. Where BZ? Where BE? Where BE? So anyway, I did get a bunch of new contrast paints. I did mention that. They arrived today, and they're all the Warhammer ones. I've actually bought a set because they were on sale during what do you call it? Prime Day. So I said, "What the heck? Let's do it, man! That was a good deal." Come out to about little over $2 a bottle, which is really good. Better than I get normally, $3 to $4 a bottle. And they're the 2.0. So here I have Fire Giant Orange, which is actually in the box, but this is 1.0. So one of these days I may have to do a 1.0 versus a 2.0 to see if there's a difference. Maybe. I actually thought about doing some Twitch videos where all I do is test a color. Do you want to see this color? Let's do it. So people could go online. One of these days I'll have a bunch of, like, I don't know, just figures that I just painted well, they won't all be painted one color, but I'll paint them one color just for the sake of showing what the color does. And then maybe next time I'll go over it with some other color or something. You know, throw highlights on it or do something else with it, but at least that color can be called out. The trick is finding something that I have enough of that I can do that with, and like maybe skeletons or something crazy. Be good to find things that could actually be done, and it's not going to be, you know, not be kind of silly. It's like, yes, a purple firefly. I don't know. I mean, actually, that probably works pretty good, but. But, you know, just something out of the ordinary. Purple dandelion. I mean, you know, silly, right? So, not quite right. Okay, so let's see. What was I looking for? I was actually just sorting out my colors a little bit, really. So I bought air. So during Prime Day, I actually got I got air paints. I got a set of the war paint, army painter war paints airbrush paints. These are super cool. Look, they give you the full triad. So if you want to do the triad, you're going to be able to do. You just get the colors you need, and you say, "All right, I can, you know, paint the triad." Here's the deal, though. Not all their paints do that. Only their air paints do that right now. There's no reason for their speed paints to do that, because the speed paints are all the colors, right? It's the highlight, the dark, the shade, and everything. I mean, that's the whole point of them. So that doesn't make any sense. They didn't do it on their old paints because it's a new thing. So hopefully future paints that they come out with, all of their future acrylics, will have that. It's not standard yet, though. I don't think. I'm hoping that's something they came up with and they're gonna go, yeah, that's our new thing. We're doing that all the time now. So that's what I hope, but I don't know. And I hope other people bite onto that, man, because that is so cool. Because not everybody keeps their triads together, and yes, you can go, okay, that's a darker, that's a lighter, that's a really light. Yes, you can do that, but it's nice to just have, if you're going to stay within one line, to know what the triads are simply by grabbing the paints and doing it. That's my thought. I believe that's the way. That's the way it should be. Okay. So I had this guy, and I actually posted online, how do I put this guy on? How is he supposed to be connected? I could not figure it out. And I'm figuring that must be like a piece of his belt or something that's flying out. So ultimately, I decided, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let's paint that guy. I'm going to do it another try. So I'm going to try my new paints now. They are right here. 24 bottles. I'm just doing contrast paint stuff. Oh, you know what? I can't paint him out right. I got to primer him. Should I airbrush it? Wait, this is primer. Yeah. One of my new Warhammer air paints. But this is primer. I don't need much. Do I have another guy? Yeah, I have a couple guys here that need primer, so let's do that with a couple of them. Now, some like to do like all black, and some people will do like all white, because then you can do that zenithal paint thing, right? You can do that with black and gray too, but or white and gray too, or with gray too. But gray is just, you know, it's too neutral. It's pretty neutral. But that's what I got here, so that's what I'm using. No, I probably shouldn't do that over my paint palette. Huh? Alright, let's move the paint palette out of the way. And let's bring this little thing in here because it means nothing to me. And we'll just... Now I'm told if we're going to be doing a lot of airbrushing, you should wear a mask. So I am doing that. I'm not doing a lot right now anyway, but alright, these paints are non-toxic, but still, you don't want to be breathing that junk in, right? I got another dude here that could probably use a little bit of primer. This guy, he's missing his arm, but actually I think his arm is in, I have it over here, so. I was looking for it the other day. I found this guy. I'm like, where the heck is his arm? Oh, it's right here. So, some people would prime it like gray, and then you can like try to prime it black. Then they'll like do like a shadow black and then a brush white, and then you basically have the same effect. All right, so what else have I got? I'm sure I got other pieces that could use a little primer somewhere. This guy? I don't think he's primed. Let's get him primed up. You're like, this is boring. Why would you show us primer? Hey, you know, that's one of the best things for airbrushes. I'm telling you right now. Everything else an airbrush does is secondary. I mean, yes, you can paint. It's good for base coats. If you get to be like uber expert at it, maybe you can make more out of it. But so have you noticed, or I've been hearing that there's this new kind of resin that works with 3D printers that's actually more rubbery now. It's like, makes it way more resilient, less breakable. I'm so, I hope it's as good as I've seen some people using it saying, yeah, this stuff's awesome. You know, I don't know, maybe there's a limit to how detailed you can get, but it looked like it was doing pretty good. And yeah, that's the stuff, man. You know, it can probably get warped, but at least then you can fix, you know. That's my thought anyway. Alright, I think he's primed. Don't really see anything missing that I can tell. Maybe the back of his hand a little bit. got his primer. A bunch of guys ready to be painted. Getting there. What else? How about this guy? How's my... Uh-oh. I think my paint is drying up here. My airbrush is getting that dried effect. Uh-oh. Alright, let's see. Let's put some airbrush medium in there. Could be I'm also running out of primer. I don't know. I'm going to cut down a few things, so it's possible. Alright. I think he's ready to go too. I think that's it. I think I've got everybody who's near me that's ready to be painted. Painted or primed. Oddly enough, that's not true. I have this guy back here, who I've been putting on the docket to get painted. But he's on the docket, and I don't know when he's going to get played, so he ends up being pushed back a lot because I don't. Just like he'd be just a fun character to paint. I don't yet know how I'm gonna actually work him into anything. This means he gets to be pushed back a lot due to his inapplicable state of being. I gotta turn on my light. It's getting kind of hard to see. I'm really close up on him because, well, I want to keep him on the table. shields the other stuff on my table from the paint more. I know they have what do they call it? Airbrush boxes that you can buy. There's a few companies that make them. Let's say he's pretty ready. Yep. Okay, so there you go. There's that another guy primed up and ready to be painted at some point. That guy's already started. Alright, so yeah. Alright, I guess we're going to call it good with the primer. This guy's already ready primed. I don't have anybody else that needs priming that's nearby me. Oh, here we go. I'm just trying to use up my primer I stuck in here, which is probably more than I should have put in here. So, this is another person without an arm, but I do have the arm for her as well. It's just, this is Wonder Woman actually. Right. Yeah, I thought like I did the up part of him, but I didn't do the down part. Alright, now he's ready. Painted up and painted with the zenithal priming. Yep. Alright, that's good enough. Let's rinse this out and get to it. I should probably be almost done here. I probably put too much water in here, to be honest. I mean, it's going down, but that is the one thing about spray cans. You don't have to worry about waste because you just spray and then you're done. And then you used up what you were using. If you use like airbrush, you have to take the paint out, put it in the pot. Now you can pour excess if there's enough of it back into the bottle, but oftentimes, you know, if you do it right, you come up with just, you know, a few drops here and there. Yeah, we're about 3/4 of the way to the bottom here. And it's quickly progressing. Got less than, I don't know, less than 20%, 15%. It's almost to the bottom. Almost gone. Yeah, we're there. Okay. Now I just gotta clean out the pot. Should be all good to go. Looks pretty good. There shouldn't be any real paint in here left. I'm going to throw a little bit of airbrush thinner in here just because, you know, making sure there's nothing on the tips or whatever. Alright, that should just about do it. Hopefully we're clean enough that we don't have to worry about pluggage trying out. Okay. So my primer guys can get out of the way now. But now I have multiple guys I can actually start doing some work on. So let's, you know what? I want to try another one of my new paints. How about familiar pink? No. Graveyard gray? Nah. Shamrock green. Alright, shamrock green. Interesting. Shamrock green. Now these aren't airbrush paints. Oh, by the way. Now some would say you should put a base coat on first, right? What do I got here? Warrior skin. Purple swarm. Desolate brown. Bright red. Slaughter red. Nuclear sunrise. Wow. Hoplite gold. Malignant green. Here we go. That's okay. Now let's put a base coat on him, shall we? What's a good base coat to just kind of lather him up? Let's go with a brown. Brown and green, those are kind of boring colors, but that's very, how about desolate brown? Let's do desolate brown and see what that does. I don't know what it looks like. You never know what it looks like until you got it. So we got desolate brown and malignant green, which actually look like they could kind of be in the same family. Shake well. What is shake well? Typically, you want the top. I say my feeling is the bottom and the top have to look the same in the bottom. So if like it looks dark on top and light on bottom, that means you got a bunch of junk on the bottom that needs to be moved to the top, or at least blended in. All right, so let's go. We're gonna go with malignant green for the base coat. I'm gonna put a good chunk on there because I'm gonna do like they say and try not to be stingy. See how this works. I'm not doing anything to clean them up or, do the, what do you call it, checking for flaws in the mold or anything, because I don't care. This guy's just going to be another table-ready goblin. Hopefully. So we have some good colored goblins to work with. Oops. I was really generous with that amount. Definitely gonna have to do some work. Alright, that's good enough for that one. His hands and feet and his body. And we're going to take this desolate brown. We're going to do the same thing over pretty much the rest of him. I'm going to have him wearing ooh, that looks very dark. We'll see how that looks in a minute. It's kind of funny, you see all these online people who paint, and they talk about the paints. Don't do this, don't do that, don't, do this and do that, and don't do this, don't do that. They talk about contrast paints. They're great. One guy's like, oh yeah, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But ultimately, the best painters, none of them just use contrast paints. They go back, they clean them up, they put some highlights on. You can still do extra stuff. You just don't have to do as much extra stuff. You don't have to spend as much time with your shades and your. Missed his ears. I might even have to like lighten up his shirt, just so, I don't know, he doesn't look so much like he's wearing the same clothes, same color clothes all the way. I mean, or at least maybe put some dark color borders on it, something. Let's go ahead and get some ears on there, huh? I didn't paint his ears. I didn't get any paint on his ears. It does do a pretty good job at showing the doing the highlights, you know, or you know, giving that contrast, popping the colors out. But I do think also, I mean, when you're doing it this way, it's a little too much of a good thing. You know what? I just realized there's like a piece of metal I don't like. Something is with these lead minis, you can get little pieces of metal, which is basically the equivalent of an injection of the little plastic leftovers that come from a resin printer. Oh, you got my flying goblin coming in for the attack. He's actually looks not that bad. Use some base, kind of brush it up. I think I might do something with his vest. I don't think I like the color. I don't like his vest is exactly the same. May have to do something with that rope around his waist. And also, there is a little piece of metal that's going to bug me unless I get it off of there. This piece does not belong here. See? It even moves. just bent up piece of extra material. There you go. That's got to go. We don't do bent up pieces of extra metal. very, 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 very basic, but he don't look too bad. So yeah, now let's do now Holy White is a very, very gray color. In fact, I actually think it's more gray than white. They should have called it Holy Gray because it's holy gray. But I'm going to put this on the rocks underneath him. See, there's not much white about those. It's very, not white. Guess we'll see how they. Now this one doesn't seem to be doing much contrasting. Guess we will see how it ultimately settles, but right now it just looks gray, 100% just gray. Nothing contrast, no highlights, nothing. Now what I often like to do when I'm using a base like this is I will actually fill it in with like green stuff or just some Martian earth or something and turn the whole thing into one base, turn it into a base with the and it just ends up sharing the magnetic bottom. Which typically works pretty good. Just to kind of spread it out so I don't end up with my flex iron all the way across. And I do like the wider base that comes with the flex iron. So I don't even know if that's a 1-inch base. Probably should be, but I don't know if it is. It might be a 1 1/4 inch base. Flex iron. Can you dry brush with contrast paints? I don't know that you can. Probably don't carry enough pigment. That definitely is better. Probably even. I like to sometimes do rocks with brown or green wash in between them because I think it's better. It just tends to make, it's more realistic. The rocks look, like they're dirty. They're not like a bunch of clean rocks. They've got dirt around them. Just makes them look more natural. Doesn't need to be a ton. Still want to be gray. Just want them to look like they belong in the outdoors. And I gotta get his vest. I gotta do something with his vest. Thinking maybe a lighter tan. Do I have a lighter brown? Pallid bone. Probably not what I'm looking. How about Crusader skin? That would actually do something interesting. Let's put some Crusader skin on his brown vest. Don't know how that's gonna work. I can be creative. I don't. This guy's not like. It's not going to be played with that often, and I don't think anybody's actually using it for anything. So I'm going to use Crusader skin on top of his desolate brown here. See what it does to lighten his vest a little. Hopefully some. Ultimately, if it doesn't do much, I'll have to come up with something else. I mean, he is a goblin, so he still gets to wear dark colors. And not like... not dark like... black like a rogue, but dark like he's just a dark character. And therefore, he gets to wear dark clothes. He's gloomy, he's a bad guy, you know? Let's see if this lightens up his vest at all. I hope it does. Or at least gives his vest a little bit of counter appearance to the rest of his. I feel like it's a vest. I'm treating it like it's a vest. Call it a hooded vest, shall we? We'll put this on his hood too. And I am about done. My wife decided to come home and make dinner, so I'm gonna go up and enjoy some dinner with her. The thing is, I don't think I put enough on my palette to get all the areas that has this vest. But it does appear to be different, but maybe not as much as I was hoping. I thought it looked lighter on the box, but it's way darker. Okay, so that's it for me for now. Until later. You have a good one. Take it easy.